All right, everyone, it's your friendly neighborhood surveyor, and I turned down my radio. I've gotten a couple questions, and I think I've addressed this a few times, but people have been asking about like getting into the field. Like they're going from one profession and they're thinking about getting into surveying, and what my opinion is, or not my opinion, but do I think it's a good idea? All of my opinions come from working in California. So Southern California, if you work outside in the construction field, and this is if you plan on being out in the field, it's a great environment because you work pretty much all year round. You're not out of work because of snow and stuff. You know, we've had a little bit of a rainy season, but that's, you know, a few days here, a few days there, and wind affects us about as much as rain does. But I would say if you're thinking about getting into this field, I'm assuming you have an interest in the field. And let me try to zoom. Whoa, too much. So I'm assuming you have an interest in the field. Too many times people get into an industry, be it surveying, just say surveying, and they know nothing about it. And for one reason or another, they get into it, but I don't want to say their heart's not in it, but maybe it just wasn't what they were expecting. But if you're thinking about it, I'm assuming you've learned something about it. And if I were to do it over again, there we go. Oh shit, too much. If I were to do it over again, or what I suggest to people that are younger is I would go the route to get your license, because you're going to be more valuable with that license than obviously without. I started in the 80s. Late 80s. My dad was a surveyor. My older brother got into it. My brother is licensed in California. I got my LSIT. And then I left the field for a while, came back, after about 10 years, and the work was the same. I went back into more like residential staking, stuff like that. So the work was the same. The only thing that changed was really the technology. So I had to kind of get caught up on that. But, you know, math is math. Curb is curb. Houses are houses. But there's a lot of math involved. And if you like solving problems, the field is pretty good, because every job site's a little bit different. You have your obstacles, different job sites. The pay, I think, tops out more if you're an LS. I mean, obviously, it tops out more if you're licensed. Working for the county, working for a transportation department, stuff like that. But if you're working for the county or transportation stuff, you're not staking storm drains, sewer, housing tracks. You're doing more freeway, highway, bridges, or you're signing maps. All depends on what kind of government position you have. You can have like the best of both worlds maybe out in the field. So if you were to start in the union, to me that's the way to start, because it forces you to go through the apprenticeship program. Then that gives you the training, and even though you're not being taught maybe everything out in the field that day, now you're being exposed to it in a school setting. So it's teaching you the math, teaching you about, like, you know, stationing, offsets, why we do certain things, some of the legal aspects of like boundaries or ALTAs and stuff. And so that's the way I would approach it, is if you have a union that is hiring, or, you know, that it's accepting people on their out of work list, that's a benefit to it, and you're going to get paid better, insurance and stuff like that. If you don't have that available, then I would see what's available in your local junior college or um, university, and see if there's a degree program, just an associate's degree in surveying, and that'll kind of do the same thing. Maybe not as much field work because they're training you to take a test. They're training you to get your LSIT and then to get your license. But so like me starting out in the field, I went through the apprenticeship program, so got certified chairman. At that time, they we're in a little bit of a recession, so they didn't have the party chief classes going on at that time. But but you're kind of learning as you go, and going through the party chief classes, it gets you another certification, so there's a higher pay scale. But the result is it kind of pushes you to get your LSIT and to get your license. If you can get your license, or at least your LSIT, while you're out in the field, then it opens up other positions in the office for like being a chief of parties. So now you're organizing the jobs, you're sending crews out, you're getting stuff ready for them, you're doing calcs, maybe you're in more conversations with the clients, you're dealing more one-on-one with the engineers and their problems. So you're not out in the field, but you're still doing work related to the field without being in the field, and that could pay pretty well. There's a lot of private companies that need licensed surveyors as part of their team, just like they need registered engineers. So is it a good profession? Yes, it's a great profession. But there's you would really have to look at what the need is in your area, and maybe go and take someone out to lunch, or see if there's like a shadowing opportunity where call your like the survey department in your local county, or if your transportation department has a survey office, which they should, see if you can go there, shadow them, ask some questions, pick their brains, and they're going to have their own suggestions. They're either be happy at what they do, wish they went a different way, give you some more info than just me on YouTube. And most of us like to talk. Most of us like to brag. For me, I'm a surveyor from 6 to 3. That's it. I'm done. I go home. I do my own thing. And surveying's been a really good career. But I can walk away from it. It's not going to be on my tombstone. There's other people carry it to them to the grave, work forever. I have nothing bad to say about surveying, but there's a lot of ego in the field. But yeah, that's about it. I would just do your due diligence if semesters haven't started at colleges. Do your research. See what's available at colleges. See what's available out of union halls. And I would say once you get in the field, if you go the field route, ask questions. If you're not asking questions, to me it feels like you're not wanting to learn. And anyone who's worked with me, I talk all day. And if you're not talking, I gotta fill the void. And I'm not always talking about surveying, but I do like teaching as long as somebody's willing to learn. And the hard part about teaching, so I turned 57 this year. The hard thing about teaching, I was talking about with my coworker the other day, is we come from a time when we're still using plumb bobs, just transits, top-mounted distance meters and things. So a lot of the terminology that we have in our head comes from that time, and I don't know. I don't want to say that we automatically assume that you know what we're talking about, or like a new person knows what we're talking about. But I think we're used to training people that are in some type of union program or some type of schooling to where they're being taught the same language as we're moving forward. So it's, it isn't the same thing on like teaching somebody how to use a rotary phone or talking about a rotary phone when they got a smartphone in their hand. But that rotary phone is what is what I started with. And so I appreciate the stuff we have now. But if we had to do it the rotary style, all those fundamentals are still here. So it's really hard teaching the fundamentals because it takes time out of the day to kind of like, 20 years ago, this is how we used to do it. Because we don't have the time. We don't have the time to go back in history. Technology moves so fast that you're constantly having to upgrade what you're learning. And so I try to take any opportunity I have to like talk about things, to avoid making mistakes, to always double check your work and stuff. And I don't know if it gets through. Like when I try to talk, I'm encouraging questions, but that's just me. There are some party chiefs where they don't like questions because maybe they don't have the answer, or they're afraid of, I don't know, losing their job. I'm not afraid of losing my job, and when I'm done, you can have it, because I'll be doing other things. So I hope that answers the question. Whoever texted me last time, I'll send you the link to this, and that's it. Let me know if you guys let me know if you have any questions. And there's going to be another video. Somebody asked me questions about reading contour maps. Another person asked about how to read. Now they said blueprints, so you're dating yourself. How to read plans on I think underground parking, stuff like that. So I got to try to find plans for that. We don't really do underground parking. I know we've done a couple jobs, but I'd have to look in our archives. So if somebody has like a profile of like a ramp in underground parking, and they could let me know, or you can just email it to me. Let me know through the comments. I'll send you my email, and you can send it over to me. That's it. Survey out.